Long ago, in a quiet little town called Bethlehem, a child was born, not in a castle or palace, but in a stable, surrounded by animals. His mother, Mary, wrapped him in cloth and laid him in a manger. That baby was no ordinary child. His name was Jesus, and he was the Son of God. As he grew, he didn't build armies. He built friendships. He didn't demand riches. He gave food to the hungry. He didn't sit on a throne. He knelt beside the sick, the blind, the broken, and healed them all. He told stories that made people think. He loved children. He forgave sinners. He walked on water. He raised the dead. Crowds followed him everywhere, but not everyone loved the light he brought. In dark rooms and secret meetings, powerful men whispered, "If we don't stop him, we'll lose everything." And so, they planned. Jesus had 12 disciples, 12 close friends who followed him everywhere. Among them was one named Judas. No one knew that in his heart, Judas had started to drift away. One evening, Jesus and his disciples sat for a special dinner. Jesus looked at them and said, "One of you will betray me." The room went silent. "Not me. Surely not I." They all cried, but Jesus looked straight at Judas. Later that night, in the shadows, Judas met with Jesus' enemies. They handed him 30 silver coins, the price of betrayal. The plan was simple. When the moment came, Judas would lead them to Jesus and give him a kiss. Jesus knew what was coming. So he went to a garden called Gethsemane to pray. The night was silent. The stars watched. His friends fell asleep, but Jesus knelt on the ground. "Father," he whispered, tears in his eyes, "if there's another way, take this cup from me. But not my will, yours be done." Then, torchlight broke the silence. Soldiers marched in. And Judas, with a cold smile, walked up to Jesus and kissed his cheek. "Friend," Jesus said softly, "do what you came for." The soldiers grabbed Jesus. His disciples wanted to fight, but Jesus said, "No. This must happen." They dragged Jesus to the high priest. False witnesses shouted lies. "He says he's the Son of God." They cried. He was slapped, mocked, and beaten. At dawn, they brought him to Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor. Pilate asked, "Are you the king of the Jews?" Jesus answered, "My kingdom is not of this world." Pilate couldn't find any reason to punish Jesus. So he gave the crowd a choice: free Jesus or a criminal named Barabbas. The people shouted, "Give us Barabbas! Crucify Jesus!" Pilate washed his hands. "I am innocent of this man's blood," he said, and so, the innocent king was sentenced to die. They put a crown, not of gold, but of thorns, on Jesus' head. Blood ran down his face. They mocked him, hit him, spat on him, then they gave him a heavy wooden cross. Jesus carried it through the streets. People watched. Some wept. Others laughed. At a hill called Golgotha, they nailed his hands and feet to the cross. Above his head, they placed a sign, "This is Jesus, the King of the Jews." 2 criminals hung beside him. One mocked him. The other whispered, "Remember me, Lord." Jesus turned to him and said, "Today, you will be with me in paradise." Then, after hours of pain, Jesus cried out with a loud voice, "It is finished." The sky turned black. The earth shook. And Jesus died. Jesus' body was taken down. A man named Joseph of Arimathea wrapped him gently and laid him in a tomb carved into a rock. A heavy stone was rolled in front of it. Roman soldiers stood guard, the world went quiet, the disciples hid in fear. Mary and the others wept. Hope seemed gone. Darkness seemed to have won, but God was not finished. At sunrise on the third day, something amazing happened. There was a quake. Light burst into the darkness. Angels descended from heaven. Mary Magdalene and some women came to the tomb to honor Jesus. But when they arrived, the stone was rolled away, the tomb was empty. Two angels stood there, shining like lightning. They said, "Why do you look for the living among the dead? He is not here. He is risen." Mary ran back, shouting, "He's alive. The Lord is alive." Peter and John raced to the tomb. They saw the linen cloths lying there. Jesus was gone, just like he said. Then, in the garden, Mary saw a man she thought was the gardener. He said her name. "Mary." She froze. Her eyes filled with tears. "Teacher." She cried. It was Jesus. That evening, Jesus appeared to his disciples. The doors were locked, but he stood among them. "Peace be with you," he said, showing them his hands and his side. They couldn't believe it. He ate with them. He spoke to them. He was not a ghost, he was alive. For 40 days, he appeared to his followers, teaching them, comforting them. Then, on a mountain, he gave them one last command: go and tell the world. Teach them everything I've told you. And remember, I am with you always. And then, as they watched, Jesus rose into the sky, returning to heaven. And that's not where the story ends, because the same Jesus who died and rose again is still alive today. He still forgives. He still loves. He still walks with those who believe in him. The cross wasn't the end, it was the beginning. The empty tomb wasn't the end, it was the start of hope for every person, in every nation, for all time. And that is why, the day the world held its breath became the day heaven shouted for joy.